Hey, I want to go over the colors that I'm going to use to work on this right here. And the reason I'm choosing these colors, this is candy. It's from the Monarch Black Widow pencils. And the reason I'm choosing these colors because a lot of times when you're doing color pages, Grayscale and different coloring books and things, a lot of times you just don't have a reference to go off of, and that's okay. But I just want to kind of set up a base skin tone that we can do all the time, and it'll always work for you. It'll at least give you a base to go off of, and if you want to add a little something more, then that's fine. You know, you don't have to follow this 100%. But these colors that I'm going to show you is just mainly just the 4 colors. Is this candy, the Prismacolor Cream, Prismacolor Light Peach, and Prismacolor Peach. So with these pencils here, you're going to get some really good coloring, and mainly like a female face, something soft. This is like a fairy, angel, whatever, child looking face. And this is something that would work great for these, and it's always a base. You can always use this on any page that you want to color. But I start off a little bit different. If you watch a lot of online, everybody watches different YouTube channels and stuff like that, and most people go from a light color to a dark, and that works fine. But what we're trying to achieve here is not going over the whole page. We're just going to touch into places that need this color, and we'll blend it in some. But we're not doing a lot of blending. We're not relying on a lot of different skills. We're actually just going to put the color in where it can go and make that look good. This is for a beginner, somebody that maybe is frustrated with skin tones, and they just would really like a break. They really want to just do something nice and get on to the rest of the page. And that's awesome. So that's what we're going to work on. So I'm going to start out with this candy. And what I'm trying to focus on is not these highlighted areas in these, you can see here. Now looking at this picture right here, you also want to establish one thing that's important, is which direction is this lighting coming from. And on this page, you just kind of, what I do is just put my pencil down and just kind of start doing this. And it looks like the light's coming from this direction. So if I look at it, you notice how bright it is over here along the shoulder. It's bright here, along here, this ear. We got all these dark areas on this side over here and along here. So that pretty much says our lighting's coming from this direction here. So we can come in and establish, okay, this is going to be a really bright spot, and I'm just going to step off from that brightness a little bit. I don't want to get this pencil into there, and I'll start right around this eye right here, and just doing some little circular motions. You can choose whatever works best for you. We're just trying to take note that the paper's only going to allow you so much, depending on what paper you're using. This is a Bristol cardstock. Bristol Vellum. It is 67 pound. And you can see here, I'm not spending a whole lot of time doing these little circles and just filling this. I'm just kind of getting through this, and I'm turning my pencil as I go to keep a nice sharp edge. You'll feel it start getting dull, and it's more like there's no friction. It's just gliding over the page. And you just want to roll this a little bit, find a nice little area where you can feel a little bit of a bite. You can feel the teeth of the paper snagging onto this and pulling some of the color in. So I'm going to try to stay out of some of these bright areas. I'm just going to move down into this. Now this is a Grayscale coloring page, and I've got it off of Etsy, I'm sorry. And I don't exactly remember who it was, but it's really easy to find. It's like Warrior Women or something like that. So I'm just taking this candy color, I'm going into some of these a little bit darker areas. I'm just pulling over away from these darks and up into here. But we're not worried too much, because here's kind of like a foundation. We're just putting on this foundation. We'll come over here and start adding this in over here. And what we're doing mainly with this color is putting a nice foundation, and we are finding these shadows, and we're finding out our page. We're just kind of exploring it with this right here. I'm going to come all the way across this eye to the next one. This is usually a darker shadowy spot. And I really like this method because it allows you to just go moving on to the next stage. I'm just getting some color in here. We're not pressing hard. I'm basically just laying my pencil onto the paper and pulling. As soon as I'm feeling that bite and I see color going down, so I know I'm good. Just keep the pencil rotating around to different areas. Sometimes while I'm moving, I'm just rotating it around and around and around. So I'm put some more color in. Just kind of finding I know the shadows here. A lot of times just exploring the page like this right here is good. It'll give you a lot of ideas, like, oh, I don't want to mess up around here. I don't want to get into that really white spot right there yet. So I'm just going to move along here. Not doing really small circles, just kind of ovals like this right here. Keeping that pencil moving around and around. And generally, you know, if you were doing this under other instructions, which are good instructions, and it does work, they would want you to come in with your lighter color, which would be something like this cream, and they would want you to start off and go across the whole thing, and then go to your next color, which is going to be, you know, something like this light peach, and then you would pull up close to those and blending, and that's great. That'll give you a really nice rich tone. We're going to achieve that at a basic level, at a very basic level is what this is. This isn't gonna have the same effect as would a blending of that style. And I like to use this right here. Sometimes you're just going and just playing. You're not really trying to wow anybody. You just want to get some nice color down. So here we go. Here some shadows in here I want to get done. Over here, just getting this nice color. This is a really nice color. If you've never used these before, I really do like the Black Widow pencils. They're really good, and I love my Prismacolor also. I think each has their own place. This is not putting down a whole lot of that wax. And we're kind of using the grayscale to our advantage. The shadows are already there. So basically, when we come across it, this here's going to show up darker in this area, and it's going to be lighter automatically out here. So a lot of the work's already done. There's, you know, some controversy. People don't like the AI or the grayscale. You know, it's up to, I think it's up to us, the person who's doing it, to choose what kind of style they want. This, I believe, is the AI generated. So just going in, finding some of this, putting in some tones, and basically anywhere I see that gray is getting a good hit with this, and everything else like this lighter area, trying to stay out of a little bit. Maybe I'll get right here, and you can come in and just do some small, you know, explore up in there just a little bit, because you're going to be blending it back some. We are going to be doing some blending, but we're really not trying to get into too much of that on this picture. Now I'm just going to focus really on the face of it for this video. And there'll be more as we go, more detail going on, finding some different references and pictures to look at, because it's a lot easier. Then you can go in and start picking out some of these other like beige and, you know, all these different colors that are out there. You can start bringing those in. But usually when you already have a reference to go off, when you have a reference, it's easier. And a lot of times I'll go and I'll just Google, you know, whatever I think this is, you know, and get some ideas off of different pictures, and use those as a reference, because you can find something that matches the sliding pretty easily. And you just go and look at models or whatever, just people. Probably gonna do a little bit of this, the neck area, just because it means so much to have that shadow for this light to look like something. It's probably good to have that shadow. So I'm going to sharpen this a little more. I'm going to get down on this neck area here and put some color. It's so important a lot of times to establish these dark areas. Don't worry about the lines. Like, I can run out, see I'm running all up on that necklace, running through the hair, stuff like that. That can all be worked out later on. It's not a big deal. All right, I think this is very close to where we want to be. I'm just going to spin it here and get this little ear right here. I pressed a little too hard right there. That's okay. We'll blend that out. There. All right, so we got that color done. The next phase is to come in with this this color here is the light peach. Tip there. So now going back into, I know this is going to be a dark pencil. Now we're not trying to layer everything through here, so I'm just going to take it and just get close. I know I got some dark areas there. And it really doesn't matter the order, because I can stop now, and usually I actually prefer to come in with this darker peach right here and catch those dark areas right in there. That makes it start to pop right there. And just kind of bring this out to where you can blend it in a little bit. There. We'll catch these areas around her eye right here. So this is the darkest color. As far as the skin tone goes, this is the darkest color. I do come in with another pencil. It's called Huntsman right here. It's from the Black Widow set. And I'll use that to catch the shadows, the real shadows, like under the neck and the ear and stuff like that, where the hair is over the face there. But areas like that I didn't do earlier. It's perfect. Just go ahead and use it. Put it in there. I'm gonna start adding some of this dark. Let that be what it is right there. Now this side is the dark side, so it's going to get a pretty good helping of this color. And we can still lighten this up a little bit when we use our light peach into this color, because we're going so light right now. It can still be influenced by a lighter color. A lot of times, reason people don't do the darks first is because they think maybe they can't. But if you're using a light touch, there's no reason to be prying down on this, because we've got that grayscale underneath there. And on this picture, we're going to use that to our advantage. And we're going to really kind of cheat, get a little, use that grayscale to our advantage. And I'm going to push this color down a little bit here. And just go right along there. Now this is our light side where the light's coming in. So we don't want to really mess around too much, but we do want to show where the shadows from this hair are, right in here. And we'll go ahead and go up here and put some up there. That's about as much as we want to put right there for now. Now we can go into this ear and catch all these darks in this ear area. Now remember, we already put a little bit of a mid-tone in there with that first pass that we did. That was kind of a mid. We were kind of exploring with that pencil. So now I'm just covering up some of these dark areas here. Just trying to give the face some shape. Something like that right there. A lot of times it doesn't really matter, these colors here, so long as you've got a nice the values are working, your shades, you're not just putting this willy-nilly everywhere, because I see that a lot. I see people, they'll grab a color and they say, oh, this is tan, and just do the whole picture all the way across. And once you've done that, you've lost these points, these lighter areas, and we want to preserve those. We want to keep those. So I'm going to come under here with this dark area. And again, the grayscale is really, I'm leaning on it heavy for it to do the shadow for me. This color's helping by using the dark in here. But I'm really leaning into that grayscale for my shadows, and it's really gonna be the main player here. It's gonna help us out achieve what we're trying to do here. So I think that's gonna be good right there with this darker color. Maybe come in and put one more little layer in here. Now as we layer this up with more and more colors, as you get more advanced, you'll start to realize that you're pushing your grayscale away. You're kind of leaving it behind and moving out on your own with your own color to create these shadows. Now if you're using bright and vibrant colors and you're staying in these and you push that grayscale away, well, now you've got to come in and really do some work. And that's where these experts and people that are really trained in art, that's where they shine. And that's really how they get such great tone. It's just by understanding the shadows and the colors that they're using in the shadows. Now we're going to come in with this and push some of this shadow back, this color, and start working with this lighter peach color. Light peach is the name of it, and we're going to just kind of blend some of this in. And you can see how it's knocking out some of these harsher tones. Kind of pushing it. I don't want to push them away, but we'll come in here and blend some of this into it. I'll bring this up. I had such a hard time learning how to do these skin tones, and I just found these 4 colors, and I really heavily use them to achieve a very basic skin tone. And that's what this is. This just gets you in there, get you feeling confident about yourself. Now we're just pulling up from the darker areas and just getting close to those light, really bright areas. Blending this in some. Around this chin's really bright, so I'm gonna start pulling into it a little bit. The cool thing also is you're printing these out. If you do make a horrific mistake and you want to do something about it, you just print out another one and you can continue on. Like I got a lot of orange showing up in there. I probably shouldn't have put that color that bright right there, and that's okay. It's gonna work out. So starting to take away some of the white of the page now with this layer. I think that's important to do too. Get rid of the white of the page. But a lot of times you're leaning on that just as much as you are the shadows that this grayscale puts in there. You're really relying heavily on these bright areas that it provides for you. You just got to learn to utilize them. I think I got this really close to where I want to be. I don't know where all these pencil colors are falling in. There's blues and everything. I guess maybe from my sharpener it stuck to the pencil. Okay, so we got to that. Now we're going to take our cream into my handy baby and try not to break any more leads, which I usually don't do with this with a sharpener. So now I just want to get into the brightest of areas and push it. Push it up into these areas here. some of that orange I stuck in there. Finding some of these bright areas here. And I think I jumped over this earlier with my light peach, and I'll go ahead and grab it and bring it in. It didn't really make a world of difference, but there's some different toning going on. Trying to stay on the screen. This is my first video, really. So I guess it's going okay, other than breaking a pencil in my sharpener, which I say I never do. I never break a pencil in the sharpener. Of course, I'll break it twice in one go, but that's okay. Look at there. It's not a you know, fine art quality, but I think we achieved something that isn't too far off from a nice skin tone. We can start darkening it up a little bit. And this is kind of like we're at a base. It only took us a couple minutes to get to here. We didn't spend, 2 hours trying to do this skin tone. So it was a very quick. It's not 100%, artistically, I guess I don't know, correct. It's just a decent look for a beginner. I think he would be happy to do something like this right here. I'm not trying to get all artsy and all that. I was just simply getting some nice skin tone out of a few pencils in a shorter amount of time. And we can keep going and going and going as far as we want to go now. We can start darkening our darks up, and as you put the darks in, you'll notice your lighter colors will start to come in. That bothers me with that orange or peachy color right there, but there's tricks and stuff to get rid of that. That would, start involving the color wheel and start looking at ways to get rid of some moving colors and pushing them in different directions. But we're not going to worry about that right now. We're just getting this done. All right. So there's a basic skin tone. So you would want to come in now and do your eyes. And once you get your eyes and the lips done, and then it'll all come together a lot more. And another thing is the Huntsman is another color that I would use to come into some of the darkest of areas, like in here. And you're simply just taking this pencil, setting it down, and slowly just barely moving it on there. Just barely putting some color. You can barely see that. But as you go, you'll start to see it, you'll start to see the values, the you know, you're pushing that grayscale aside and starting to just use your own. You might want to put a little of this in there. Get a little better tone out of that. Around in here, about across the top of it there. You might come in here and put some. Pull a little bit darker. Because when you really go and look, there's a lot of dark features on a face. So there, we just kind of push those back there. We can come over here around the eye and do the same thing. Just slowly work some of this in. And you start to get a little bit better shade, better value, getting more correct. Under the lip especially, right there. I could use a little bit more of this right here, around this area. But I usually save this spot underneath the lip after I do the lip, because then it'll help you redefine the lip. Because a lot of times you'll go over with whatever your pinks or reds or whatever you're doing, you'll go over and into this area. And it's always nice to be able to come back and block that in and get rid of the overlapping that you've done and pushed into this area. The nose is really important too. Right there, that little darker area there. You can take this and actually get into the nostril up in there. Something like that. And just kind of add some of this into here. And if you get too much, you can always go back and relighten it up. And the eyebrows, yeah, especially getting the eyebrows done. This isn't the color I would use, but I'm just kind of give it some kind of a little bit more detail. Something like that right there. And of course the eyelashes and stuff, but there's a lot more advanced skills going forward, but I think this is a good place just to say, okay, you've got a basic skin tone.